today we're diving into something with some serious potential for real-world impact. The European Union's plan to revamp their public services with AI.
Ambitious.
We're talking about services we all rely on: healthcare, transportation, education, even just dealing with the government reimagined for an AI-powered world.
It's fascinating. What's really interesting here is the EU isn't just aiming to be a passive consumer of AI tech. They want to be a global leader in shaping its development.
Oh, wow, okay.
This influences everything from the projects they're funding to the strategic partnerships they're forging.
To get into this, we've got excerpts from two pretty hefty EU reports. Adopt AI, executive summary, gives us the high-level view, and then a final study report is, well, that was for when you really want to get into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, they're dense.
And believe me, we will.
These reports make it clear the EU sees AI as a key driver of progress and competitiveness, especially when it comes to, as you said, those essential public services. They've identified 4 sectors ripe for AI disruption: e-government, mobility, healthcare, and education.
Sectors that, let's be honest, sometimes feel like they're stuck in the Stone Age. But the EU is putting serious weight behind this, not just words.
The EU isn't afraid to invest heavily in projects with transformative potential.
Interesting.
And these 4 sectors they've chosen, each one touches on, really fundamental aspects of our lives. Imagine a future where interacting with government online is actually, dare I say it, pleasant.
Don't get my hopes up too high. But okay, I'm intrigued. Let's break down these sectors one by one. Starting with this e-government thing. Does this mean no more battling through confusing websites to renew my driver's license?
That's the basic idea, yeah. But we're talking about going way beyond just smoother websites. The EU envisions e-government where AI personalizes your experience, anticipates your needs, and helps governments operate with a level of efficiency and responsiveness we haven't seen before.
So instead of me hunting down obscure forms, the government would just know what I need and deliver it.
Ideally, yes. Imagine a system that uses your past interactions and publicly available data to predict what you might need before you even realize it. Need to update your passport. Boom, a notification pops up with a pre-filled application ready to go.
Okay, now that's what I'm talking about. That's the future I signed up for. But what about the whole AI taking over the world scenario? These reports must address security concerns, right? Giving AI this much access to our data seems, I don't know.
Risky.
Yeah.
You're right to raise that, and the reports are surprisingly candid about the challenges. Cybersecurity in particular is an area where the EU acknowledges they need to step up their game, especially given the increasing sophistication of cyber attacks.
So it's like they're walking a tightrope between embracing this powerful technology and making sure it doesn't backfire. What I'm hearing is proceed with caution, but definitely proceed.
Exactly. The potential benefits are enormous, but so are the risks. The EU seems determined to find that balance, and their journey will offer valuable lessons for everyone, I think. But beyond making government less painful, they're also looking at how AI can reshape our cities and the way we move through them. That's where mobility comes in.
Yes, because who needs flying cars when we can have better traffic lights?
Well, funnily enough, it's not even just about traffic lights. While self-driving cars get a lot of hype, the EU is taking a broader approach. Think AI optimizing traffic flow in real time, predicting and preventing accidents before they happen, and making public transportation so efficient and convenient that you actually prefer it to driving.
But seriously, how does this actually work? Are they just throwing a bunch of sensors and algorithms at the problem and hoping for the best?
It's more strategic than that. One of the reports highlights Germany's mobility data space, a project connecting over 200 different players, government agencies, private companies, even research institutions, to share data and collaborate on building a truly interconnected transportation network.
Wait, so it's not just the EU calling the shots. They're actually fostering collaboration across different sectors.
Absolutely, yeah. They recognize that creating a truly intelligent mobility ecosystem requires a collective effort. This project is about breaking down data silos and encouraging innovation by bringing together the best minds from different fields.
That's a pretty interesting approach. It sounds like they're trying to avoid the whole reinventing the wheel problem by facilitating this kind of knowledge sharing. But collaboration aside, this all sounds expensive. Are we talking about futuristic transportation systems that only the wealthy will be able to afford?
That's the million-dollar question. And the reports are refreshingly upfront about the potential for a digital divide in transportation. They emphasize the need for solutions that benefit everyone, not just those who can afford the latest and greatest tech.
So it's not just about building a fancy new system. It's about making sure that system is accessible and equitable for all.
I like the way they're thinking. But let's be real, transportation is complex, even without throwing AI into the mix.
We haven't even gotten to the really mind-blowing stuff yet. AI and healthcare. Okay, now that's where things get really interesting. I could already imagine the possibilities, but also the potential pitfalls. We're talking about people's lives here, not just making commutes smoother. Where do we even begin?
You're right, the stakes are incredibly high when it comes to healthcare. That's why the EU is emphasizing a cautious but optimistic approach, focusing on areas where AI can make the biggest impact while prioritizing patient safety and well-being. Imagine AI assisting with diagnoses, flagging potential problems early on, and even personalizing treatment plans based on a patient's unique genetic makeup and lifestyle.
Now that's something I can get behind. But I have to ask, are we talking about realistic, near-future possibilities here, or is this still pie-in-the-sky stuff?
It's a bit of both, actually. The report highlighted an EU-funded project in Belgium that's developing bionic limbs that can learn and adapt to the user's movements. We're talking about prosthetics that feel like natural extensions of the body, controlled by the power of thought.
That sounds straight out of a superhero movie.
It's a perfect example of how the EU is pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI in healthcare. And it's not just about funding individual projects. They're trying to lay the groundwork for a complete transformation of the healthcare ecosystem, making it truly AI ready.
Okay, I'm going to need a minute to process that. Bionic limbs, it's amazing. But it also makes you realize just how quickly this technology is advancing.
Yeah.
This isn't just about the distant future. It's about the choices we're making right now and how they'll shape the world of tomorrow.
You've hit the nail on the head. And nowhere is that truer than in the field of education. The EU recognizes that it's not enough to simply equip students with digital skills. We need to prepare them for a world where AI is woven into the very fabric of society.
So less about learning to code and more about learning to live and work alongside AI.
Exactly. It's about fostering critical thinking, problem solving, and adaptability, the skills that will be essential in an AI-driven world where the jobs of tomorrow might not even exist yet.
That's a bit daunting, but also exciting.
Yeah.
It's like we're on the cusp of something massive, and the EU is trying to equip its citizens with the tools to not just survive, but thrive in this new world.
And they're not keeping those tools to themselves either. One great example is Finland's Elements of AI online course. It's completely free and has reached millions of people worldwide, showing their commitment to democratizing AI knowledge.
That's a pretty powerful statement. It's like they're saying, look, we believe everyone should have a basic understanding of this technology, regardless of their background or where they live.
And it gets to the heart of the EU's vision, to make AI a force for good, one that benefits all of society. But achieving that vision won't be easy. There are significant challenges ahead, from navigating ethical considerations to ensuring equal access to opportunities.
It sounds like they've got their work cut out for them. But you've piqued my curiosity. Let's delve a bit deeper into each of these sectors and see how the EU plans to turn these ambitious goals into reality.
Let's do it. Starting with e-government, the potential is there, but the path forward is full of hurdles. The reports highlight, this is interesting, a case study from Barcelona where they used AI to create a livability map of the city. They collected data from citizens, tons of it, everything from noise levels and air quality to access to green spaces and public services.
Oh, right.
All this data was then fed into an AI system that could pinpoint areas where the city could improve.
So instead of relying on, city council meetings and strongly worded letters, they're letting the data, guided by AI, inform their decisions. That's pretty cool.
Exactly. And the results were impressive. They were able to identify specific neighborhoods that needed more green spaces, better public transportation, improved pedestrian access. They even used the system to track the impact of these interventions, making sure they were actually making a difference.
Okay, I have to admit, that's pretty slick. It's one thing to talk about AI making government more efficient, but it's another to see it in action, actually, improving people's lives.
Yeah.
Let's shift gears for a moment. Let's talk about getting around. We touched on mobility earlier, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around how AI can make our commutes less, soul-crushing.
Well, imagine this. You're running late for work. It happens to the best of us. And instead of being stuck in traffic, your car automatically communicates with, like, a smart traffic management system that reroutes you through, less congested areas, saving you time, stress, all that.
That's a tempting scenario, especially for someone with my track record of running behind schedule. But is that realistic? I mean, our current traffic system barely seems able to handle rush hour as it is.
That's where AI comes in. The EU is investing in technologies like predictive modeling and a real-time traffic optimization. Imagine a network of sensors, cameras, constantly feeding data into an AI system that can analyze traffic patterns, anticipate congestion, and dynamically adjust traffic light timing, even suggest alternative routes to drivers.
So instead of reacting to traffic jams after they happen, AI could, prevent them altogether. Now, that's a game changer. But wouldn't we need, self-driving cars for that to really work?
Yeah.
Humans are, let's face it, notoriously bad at following directions, even when they're not stuck in traffic.
That's a common misconception. While self-driving cars would certainly make things easier, they're not a prerequisite for AI-powered traffic management. Even with human drivers, providing real-time information and guidance through navigation apps, in-car systems that can significantly improve traffic flow.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about public transportation?
Remember Germany's mobility data space that we discussed earlier? That kind of data sharing platform isn't just for self-driving cars. Imagine train schedules dynamically adjusting based on real-time passenger demand. Buses automatically rerouting to pick up, stranded passengers. Seamlessly pay for all your transportation needs through a single app.
Okay, that's a future I can get on board with, pun intended.
Of course.
But all this talk about data sharing and interconnected systems does raise some concerns about privacy. Are we sacrificing our digital privacy for the sake of, smoother commutes?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The EU is aware of these concerns, very aware, and is working to develop robust data governance frameworks that protect individual privacy while still enabling innovation. It's a delicate balancing act.
Let's move on to a topic that I know is near and dear to both of our hearts.
How is the EU approaching AI in healthcare in a way that, inspires confidence? One of the key themes from these reports is this idea of human-centric AI. It's not about replacing doctors and nurses, but about empowering them with better tools and insights to deliver, even better care.
So less about robots taking over hospitals and more about giving healthcare professionals a technological advantage. What does that look like in practice?
Imagine a world where AI helps doctors diagnose diseases, earlier and more accurately by analyzing medical images, patient data, all that with, superhuman precision.
Okay.
Or where AI-powered systems personalize treatment plans, taking into account an individual's, genetic makeup, lifestyle factors, all of that.
Okay, that's pretty impressive. Well, we've all heard those cautionary tales about AI algorithms inheriting biases from the data they're trained on. How do we ensure that these systems are truly objective and equitable, especially when it comes to something as crucial as healthcare?
It's a critical consideration, and the EU is placing a lot of emphasis on developing, ethical guidelines, standards, all that for AI in healthcare. They're encouraging researchers and developers to really prioritize transparency and fairness in their algorithms and to make sure these systems are rigorously tested before they're used in the real world.
It's reassuring to know they're taking those concerns seriously.
Yeah.
But even with the best intentions, healthcare is complex. There are huge inequalities in access to care and resources. How can the EU ensure that these AI-powered advancements don't exacerbate those existing disparities?
That's where their focus on inclusive innovation comes in. They're not just focused on developing, cutting-edge technologies. They're also thinking about how to make those technologies accessible and affordable for everyone. One of the reports specifically highlighted the need to address the digital divide in healthcare, ensuring that underserved communities also benefit from these advancements.
That's encouraging to hear. It's all too easy to get caught up in the excitement of technological progress and forget about the importance of equitable access. This technology has the potential to revolutionize not just healthcare, but also assistive technology, human augmentation, even our understanding of the human brain itself. It's a powerful example of how AI can be used to enhance, human capabilities and improve quality of life. But all this talk about AI reshaping our world, it makes you wonder, are we doing enough to prepare future generations for this new reality? That's where education comes in, right?
Precisely. The EU recognizes that it's not enough to simply equip students with, technical skills like coding, data analysis, all that. We need to foster a generation of critical thinkers, problem solvers, ethical innovators who can navigate the complex landscape of an AI-powered world. They're encouraging educators to incorporate AI concepts into the curriculum from an early age, teaching students not just how to use these technologies, but also, how they work, their limitations, their potential impact on society.
That holistic approach makes sense. Because if AI is going to be as transformative as these reports suggest, we need to ensure that everyone has the knowledge and skills to, participate in that transformation.
Absolutely. And it's not just about equipping the next generation of tech workers. It's about preparing all citizens to engage in, informed discussions about AI's role in our lives, to advocate for responsible development, and to shape the future we want to see.
It's a big task, but the EU seems to be approaching it with the same, I don't know, combination of ambition and pragmatism that we've seen throughout these reports.
Exactly. They're setting these ambitious goals, but they're also acknowledging the challenges and taking concrete steps to address them. It's a journey that will require collaboration, innovation, and a willingness to adapt.
And as we've seen today, their journey holds valuable lessons for all of us, no matter where we live in the world, because the questions they're grappling with, how to harness the power of AI for good, how to ensure equitable access to opportunities, how to prepare for a future we can only begin to imagine, these are questions we all need to be asking ourselves.
Well said. The future of AI is not preordained. It's a future we're all, creating together. And by staying informed, staying engaged, and staying curious, we can help shape that future in a way that benefits all of humanity.
And on that note of cautious optimism and shared responsibility, we'll wrap up our deep dive into the EU's AI ambitions. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and as always, keep diving deep.